Hey, good morning, everybody. It's March 4, a little after 10 in the morning. It's been a few days since we've been out here. We had some rain. Val had a couple days off, and we would have got out here if we could, but it's just been, I knew it rained a couple days ago, and it rained really strong, and I'm still seeing that we don't have too much puddles left, really puddles, but I can tell that today is kind of the first day it's going to be recovering. And then on top of that, I believe it's supposed to start, I believe we have rain 2 more times in our 10-day forecast. So, you know, you just work around it and do what you can. I've got plenty of other things to do that I don't have to just be out here in it. So today's another variety day. I got a lot of different little things I want to do, and I'll take you along for the ride. All right, let's get to work. All right, guys, I came over here to put this stuff, brought some compost for the pit, and there's holes in this tarp where it goes over. Look how much water got in here. So, I mean, that's probably going to help somewhat, compost stuff, but I was just shocked. That's quite a bit of rain. All right, guys, so far I took you on a dumping water, and then I brought some stuff from our house. Val one moved into storage. She's going to come out here Friday, hopefully on her day off, and organize the shed, because now we have too much stuff again in it. But you're constantly moving things around. That's how life is, I guess. Because it did rain, I want to see what kind of effect it had on the nursery stuff. I'm going to go in and check the moisture level again. I might need to water. I forgot about that I might need to water. I just assumed, because it rained so well, that maybe, I don't know, I just assumed I wasn't going to water. But I'm going to check it, and if so, then I'm going to have to take some buckets up there to where I just poured the water and get some water out and come water these. All right, firstly, before I start checking these plants, look at this bucket, how much water there is. I'd say that's a good 2.5, 3 inches of water. All right, first plant, tree, whatever. Checking this little guy out. pH is good, and we actually have enough water in there. Wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, it poured. All right, well, that's better right there. Kind of on the edge. I think I'm gonna have to water some plants, guys, some trees. As much as it rained. So what I'm gathering, I don't know if it's my mixture's not holding water, or water, I don't know, because it rained. As you saw, there was like 3 inches. Okay, now I'm putting it into this bucket, and it's probably too wet. It's at 10, and that's the plastic bucket. So maybe it has something to do with these guys too. The water goes out. Oh, that could be definitely part of it, for sure. Oh, my phone is going off the hook. Well, I came over here in the corner to check this area, thinking maybe it could be different than out here, further out, where it's not as, they're not all, see, a little bit more, maybe it's harder for rain to get in since they're all stacked up. So, but it doesn't seem to be the situation, because these are out here. Let me see. All right, these white plastic buckets are keeping all the wet in. These buckets, hard black ones that had the netting on it, keeping all of it in. Oh, wow. Okay. This is teaching me something. And I just bought a bunch of these. Well, we bought a whole new stack of, a new pack of these because we really liked them. All right, so every one of these, I don't know if you're able to see these, are plenty wet when they come. Too wet, some of them. Well, that's not. Isn't that peculiar? 3 plastic buckets right here with the same group. All these basically wet enough or too wet, but those 3 right there basically dry. Oh, I haven't checked the bags. Let's see how the bags do. Oh, we got a little bit of something growing right here. All right, bag's plenty wet. One spot was plenty wet. Yeah, that one's plenty wet. That's wet. 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 All right, these bags are retaining moisture. That's good. Interesting how some parts are wetter than others. See what's the pH going on in these things. All right, so that's that final batch that I kind of did. I did one batch. The first batch was for the fruit trees. Those seem to be at about 7 pH. Second one was with the grapes and a few other things. That seemed to be at 6.5. And now this third bunch of things that when Val and I came out, hanging out at 6, seems like. Let's see, this was also, again, it's supposed to be at 4 on the wet scale, at least. This one was wet, so I think when they're dry it wasn't showing accurately. Yeah, we're at 6 there. It's heading to 6. All right. Okay, so I need to get some water and come and water all the fruit trees. Basically anything that is in the mesh buckets. And a couple of things that are in the plastic buckets. This is where the worms are at now. I just added some fresh stuff here. They don't really seem to be breaking much down yet, and I'm tempted to dig down and see if I can find them in there, but I've scraped the top a little bit a couple times, and I usually find a couple of worms, and they're very active and feisty, so I'm hoping that there's ones down, all the rest of them are at the bottom, and that they're fine and they're not dead. because I put bedding down there, and maybe, you know, a few times I read it says they need a few days to adjust, and they'll be in the bedding for a while before they'll come up and start eating stuff. So I don't know that they're coming up yet. The bucket is got some warmth to it, and I think that's interesting. I have, the whole time I've been at home, I've kept this at home in my house because it says don't, you know, it needs to be above 55 degrees. Right now I'm sweating, believe it or not. It's supposed to get a high of 71 today out here at the property. We'll see if that happens. So, but yeah, it's warmish for sure. So I'm going to leave the worm sitting out here today while I'm here working, and then I'll check the weather before I'm going to go and see if I think they could make it here or not for the night. Right, so guys, it's that time again where we need to change the oil on the tractor. Last time I had Neana's help, and I had studied up on it and watched all the videos. Now I haven't done any of that. I don't have her help, and I haven't researched it again or remember how to do it all. I'm just going to go by the best I can remember. I know that in order to get to this oil filter, I had to move this before, so I just now undid this, and so I can kind of get in better. And so we got the oil filter there. Kind of pull the plug on the bottom, put this here. Shouldn't take me too long. And I think it was about 3.5 quarts last time. So I was down there and it felt pretty flat, but that's where we did the oil change before, and I thought, well, I'll do it up here. It feels flatter, but now the longer I'm standing here, it doesn't look so flat. So, oh well, we do what we can. I don't want to get oil on me, but I'm going to. Oh, there we go. Oh boy. There we go. Well, that was a mess. I don't know if I can show you this while I do this. It's kind of a two-handed job, but this is where we're at. I'm getting it turned, but I'm going to have to put the camera down so I can do this with both hands. There's always one part or more, I don't know. It's hard to get in to this. Let's see if I can get this down by hand. There. A little bit of oil left there. Oh, what a pain. Alright, I got that oil filter out, got my new one on. It's so hard to get into. It's hard to tell if I've got a good, it's still turning. I don't really want to over tighten it, obviously. And I did put a little bit of oil on the ring before I put it back in there. Alright, that feels pretty tight. So what we'll do is after I add oil and put the plug in, we'll start it up and make sure there's nothing leaking there. Alright, I think we're pretty much good on this. It's doing a little drippity drip, but pretty much done. It's been sitting for at least 10-15 minutes. Always tighten is what I've been told, as much as you can, but don't strip it, don't tighten it too tight. You can always tighten it more if you see the oil dripping out, but you don't want to strip it out. There, guys, I only had, when I got that service thing, that box that was for servicing the Yanmar, I already went through most of the oil, but there was this 1 quart left. So I'm going to go ahead and use this quart. And then I bought some more tractor oil on Amazon. You're going to find out I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon. I don't like supporting Amazon. And I will go to Tractor Supply or whatever from time to time. But when you start adding up all this stuff, how much cheaper it is to get it delivered to your door. The oil that I got on Amazon, I priced it in Tractor Supply, was I think at least $4 or $5 more in Tractor Supply. This takes somewhere around 3 to 4 quarts, if I remember right. This bucket's bigger than that little guy I was using. That was a quart. I think this is a gallon. So I'll just keep pouring a little bit here, and pretty soon I'll stop and check the level with the dipstick. Alright guys, I changed out the oil. We're looking pretty good on the dipstick. I don't know if you can see that. Nice and clean oil. Won't stay clean for very long. Gets black pretty quick, but it looks good for now. I also did a quick, I took this guy out. That was the air filter. Checked it. I need something to blow that out. If I had something to blow it out, I wouldn't have to go through so many. I'm only on my second one, but it's not a beautiful white. And if I had a little air compressor, I could blow that out. Or I could buy, I guess, a can of air, but I do have an air compressor. So that might be some investment here in the future. Checked the coolant, looks good. It's above full actually. So good on that. And I guess we'll be starting this up here in a minute. The other thing I wanted to do while I'm here is we're going to go ahead and grease everything real quick. And I don't think that I have greased the backhoe. Now, I haven't used it a lot, obviously. It's not been something that I've used a ton. But you can hear it making its noises. So I'm going to go ahead and grease everything on here real quick, too. And I think it's a good possibility pretty soon I'll be taking this off, switching to something different. So it'd be nice to get that taken care of. Everything's sealed up on this thing, and I'm going to start her up and make sure no oil's dripping anywhere. I quickly greased everything. I'm done. Alright, I'm going to let this run for a few minutes, then we'll check it. Alright, we're going in to check. There's a oil filter. I don't see anything leaking on it. Don't see anything dripping underneath. So it looks like we're good to go. I'll let that sit for another minute or so, but I let that run a couple minutes and warm up, see if anything drips out. Looks good. I think I'll also check axle fluid really quick. I just checked that actually about, I think last week, so it's probably fine. But since I'm sitting right here, I might as well check it. I might as well show you guys how to check this as well. Axle fluid. So it's a dipstick, and you can see it's up to that line, which is all good. Perfect. All right, I think we're good because I'm not seeing anything dripping. Gonna button everything up and be done with this project. All right, I'm looking at the weather here. Don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it looks like we're not getting too cold. So I think I'm going to leave these worms in the shed instead of toting them back and forth, at least until Sunday. Sunday starts getting cold again. So, or at least the lows are getting cold. The highs are still plenty high. So I'm going to tuck that stuff away and see what happens even I'm here overnight. Alright guys, it's a little after 2 and I'm hanging it up. I had some other things I need to do today, and then after I could put everything away, and I was like, okay, I'm leaving early so I can go do these other things. Got in the truck, started driving. I said, maybe I could do those things tomorrow morning. After changing oil, smell like oil. I'm kind of dirty and whatever. So things I need to do have to do with going into town and being around people. So probably better if I go a little bit more cleaned up. So what did we get done today? I reconnected a wire on the trailer. Got a bunch of stuff moved out of the trailer into the storage shed. I got my worms, set those in there. They look like they're doing good. In fact, right before I left, spontaneously, I decided to fluff up the dirt and just check on them, and they're all good underneath. They're lively and healthy down there, so I'm feeling good about that. What else? Grease the tractor, change the oil in the tractor, check the other fluids and things like that. Check the trees in the nursery and added water there, added water into the water totes, add a little bit of compost in the hole. So I'm probably missing a couple of things, but in general, that's pretty much it. And so we got a good variety of things done today. Probably going to be back out here tomorrow. And I disconnected the trailer. That's the other thing I did, leave it here. And I might be here a little bit later if I do those things in the morning. And then I think the next day after that it's going to rain. I'm thinking about getting a burn permit so that I could burn some stuff, but we'll think about that. Burn permits are so easy here in North Carolina. You just go online, fill out a form, and you're granted your burn permit. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything. It's for about a month. Tell them what you're going to do so they know what you're doing, where you're doing it. I'm loving it, and I'm able to keep up my property, keep it all clean. Eventually, yes, I'm not going to burn nearly as much once we kind of get on top of everything, and once houses are built and stuff like that, I'll be using it more for compost and breaking down, doing some horticulture and all that stuff. But and I even have that chipper chipping and using the bark pieces and all that. But for now, just keeping up on it, get it burnt, get it done, get it out of the way so it's not just sitting around. Keep everything looking good. So that's the plan. I will see you guys the next time I'm out here.